The kitchen was alive with the smell of fresh coffee and the sound of sizzling bacon. Sarah moved between the stove and counter with practiced efficiency, her movements automatic after 15 years of the same routine. At the breakfast table, her husband Derek scrolled through his phone, occasionally grunting at sports scores. Their 17-year-old daughter Emmy sat across from him, earbuds in, completely absorbed in her device. "Breakfast is ready," Sarah announced, setting plates down with a gentle clink. Derek didn't look up. "Can you grab my protein shake from the fridge?" Sarah paused, spatula still in hand. "It's right there behind you. I'm reading something important." His tone was dismissive, final. Sarah's jaw tightened imperceptibly, but she walked to the fridge. As she reached for the shake, Derek's voice cut through the morning air. "Oh, and Maya needs money for that school trip today. 200 should cover it." Sarah's hand froze on the refrigerator handle. 200? Derek, I gave her money for supplies just last week. Maya finally looked up, rolling her eyes. "Mom, it's not that big a deal. Just transfer it." "It's not about the money, it's about planning." Derek interrupted with a laugh. "Sarah, you stress about everything. We're fine. You handle the money stuff anyway." Sarah stood there, protein shake in hand, watching her husband return to his phone and her daughter disappear back into her digital world. The morning light streaming through the window felt cold suddenly, highlighting the growing distance between them all. "Right," she whispered. "I handle everything." The office building hummed with the quiet energy of productivity. Sarah sat in her corner cubicle, surrounded by financial reports and spreadsheets. Her phone buzzed constantly, grocery lists from Derek, requests for mall money from Maya, reminders about bills that somehow always fell to her. Her colleague Janet approached with coffee. "You look exhausted." "Just the usual juggling act," Sarah replied, not looking up from her screen. "When's the last time you did something for yourself?" Sarah's fingers paused on the keyboard. The question hung in the air like smoke. I don't remember." Janet's expression softened. "Sarah, that's not normal." But before Sarah could respond, her phone rang. Derek's name flashed on the screen. She answered with automatic efficiency. "Hi, what's up?" "The car's making that noise again. Can you call the mechanic? And we need groceries. Maya's got friends coming over tonight." Sarah looked at her watch. "Derek, I'm at work. Can't you? I'm in meetings all day. You know how it is." The line went dead. Sarah stared at the phone, Janet watching with concern. "Everything okay?" Sarah forced a smile. "Just managing." The grocery store was a maze of fluorescent lights and endless choices. Sarah pushed her cart through the aisles, checking items off a list that seemed to grow longer with each aisle. Her phone buzzed with updates from Maya about food preferences for her friends. At the checkout, the total flashed, $247.83. Sarah swiped her card, the same card that paid for everything. The mortgage, the car payments, the insurance, the endless stream of small expenses that somehow consumed her entire paycheck. Walking to her car, arms full of bags, Sarah caught her reflection in the store window. When had she started looking so tired? When had her shoulders permanently curved inward, as if she was always carrying something heavy? The evening was supposed to be family time. Sarah had prepared Derek's favorite meal, set the table with care, even lit candles. But Derek ate while scrolling through his tablet, occasionally showing Maya funny videos. Sarah might as well have been invisible. "How was everyone's day?" Sarah asked, making one more attempt at connection. "Fine," Derek replied without looking up. "Boring," Maya added, not lifting her eyes from her phone. Sarah set down her fork. "I got the strangest call today. From my college roommate Linda. She's getting divorced." Derek murmured, still reading. "She said she realized she'd been living someone else's life for 20 years. Isn't that sad?" Maya finally looked up. "Mom, can you not be so depressing? We're eating." Sarah's breath caught. "Depressing? Yeah, like why would you even bring up divorce at dinner? It's weird." Derek glanced up briefly. "Maya's right. Keep it light, Sarah." The words hit like a physical blow. Sarah looked around the table, at the meal she'd prepared, the candles she'd lit, the family she'd built her entire life around. And she saw strangers. "You're right," she said quietly. "I'm sorry." But something in her voice had changed. It was flatter, more distant. Derek and Maya didn't notice. Late that night, Sarah sat in her home office, surrounded by bills and financial documents. Bank statements, credit card bills, insurance papers, all in her name, all her responsibility. She pulled out a calculator and started adding mortgage payments she'd made alone for 2 years when Derek was between jobs. Maya's car bought entirely with Sarah's savings. The family vacations Derek posted about on social media, funded by Sarah's careful budgeting. Even Derek's business lunches, somehow always charged to their joint account that only Sarah monitored. The number on the calculator screen made her stomach turn. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Her entire adult life quantified in deposits and withdrawals. Sarah leaned back in her chair, staring at the evidence of her invisible labor. Tomorrow, she decided, would be different. Saturday morning arrived with the chaos of a typical weekend. Derek had promised to help with yard work but announced he was playing golf instead. Maya needed a ride to 3 different places and money for each stop. Sarah moved through the morning like a ghost, fulfilling each request with mechanical precision. "Mom, can you drive me to Ashley's?" Maya called from upstairs. "In a minute," Sarah replied, finishing the dishes Derek had left on the counter. "Actually, can you give me money for movies too? Like $50. Sarah's hands stilled in the soapy water. "Maya, come down here." Maya appeared in the kitchen, phone in hand. "What? When's the last time you said thank you?" Maya blinked. "What? For anything. The rides, the money, the meals, the laundry. When's the last time you acknowledged that someone is doing these things for you?" "Mom, why are you being weird?" "I'm not being weird. I'm asking a simple question." Derek wandered into the kitchen, golf clothes on. "What's the drama?" "There's no drama," Sarah said, her voice unnaturally calm. "I'm just trying to remember the last time anyone in this family treated me like a person instead of a service." Derek laughed. "Sarah, don't be dramatic. We appreciate you." "Do you?" "Of course. You're the heart of this family." Sarah turned off the water, dried her hands slowly. "The heart. Not a person, not a partner, not even a name. The heart. A thing that keeps everything else alive while slowly dying itself." Maya shifted uncomfortably. "Mom, this is getting weird." "No," Sarah said, her voice gaining strength. "What's weird is that I've been invisible for so long that you don't even see me anymore. What's weird is that I manage every aspect of your lives and you think it happens by magic." Derek's expression shifted to annoyance. "Sarah, where is this coming from?" "It's coming from 20 years of being taken for granted." "That's not fair," Derek protested. "I work hard to provide for this family." "We both work, Derek. But I work and then I come home and work more. I manage your schedule, your health insurance, your social life. I pay bills, plan meals, coordinate everyone's everything. What do you do when you get home?" "I relax. I've earned it." The words hung in the air like a slap. Sarah nodded slowly. "You've earned it," she repeated. "And what have I earned?" Derek's face reddened. "This is ridiculous. You're having some kind of breakdown." "Am I? Or am I finally waking up?" Maya backed toward the door. "I'm going to Ashley's." "How?" Sarah asked quietly. "What? How are you getting to Ashley's?" "You're driving me." "No," Sarah said, the word feeling foreign on her tongue. "I'm not." Maya's mouth fell open. "Mom, you said you would." "I said a lot of things. But I'm saying something different now." Derek stepped forward. "Sarah, this is enough. You're scaring Maya." "Good," Sarah replied, her voice steady. "Maybe if she's scared, she'll learn to do things for herself." "You're being cruel." "I'm being honest. There's a difference." Derek's face was flushed now, his voice rising. "You're having some kind of midlife crisis. Fine. But don't take it out on us." Sarah looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time in years. "Do you love me, Derek?" The question caught him off guard. What kind of question is that? A simple one. "Do you love me?" "Of course I love you. You're my wife." "That's not what I asked. Do you love me? Do you see me? Do you even know who I am anymore?" Derek's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Maya stared from the doorway. "I thought so," Sarah said quietly. That afternoon, while Derek played golf and Maya sulked in her room, Sarah sat in her car outside the bank. Her hands trembled as she pulled out her phone and opened the banking app. With a few taps, she separated their joint accounts, moved her paycheck to a new account, and removed Derek's access to her credit cards. 20 years of financial entanglement undone in minutes. Next, she called the utility companies, the insurance providers, the mortgage company. Her voice was steady, professional, as she explained that she would no longer be responsible for certain payments. They would need to contact Derek directly for his portions. Each call felt like cutting a rope that had been strangling her for years. The dinner table that evening was a minefield of tension. Sarah had prepared a simple meal. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Derek and Maya ate in silence, sensing the shift in the atmosphere but not understanding it. So, Derek said finally, "I got a weird call from the insurance company today." Sarah continued eating. "Did you? They said something about me needing to set up my own payment method. Some kind of mistake." "Not a mistake." Derek's fork clattered against his plate. "What do you mean?" "I mean I'm no longer paying for your insurance. Or your car payment. Or your credit cards." "Sarah, what the hell are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the fact that you're a 45-year-old man who's never paid his own bills." Maya looked up from her phone. "Mom, what's happening?" "What's happening is that I'm done being your mother and his mother and everyone's mother. I'm done being the invisible person who keeps your lives running while you treat me like furniture." Derek's face was darkening. "You can't just. We have a marriage. We have agreements. We have a marriage where I do everything and you do nothing. That's not an agreement, that's exploitation." "That's not true." Sarah laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Derek, when's the last time you paid a bill? When's the last time you grocery shopped? When's the last time you cleaned anything without being asked?" "I work." "So do I. I work 40 hours a week and then I come home and work 40 more hours managing everyone else's life. When do I get to rest? When do I get to be taken care of?" Derek stood up, his chair scraping against the floor. "This is insane. You're destroying our family." "I'm not destroying anything. I'm just stopping. I'm stopping being the person who holds everything together while everyone else falls apart." "Mom," Maya's voice was small, scared. "Are you leaving us?" Sarah's heart broke at the fear in her daughter's voice, but she kept her voice steady. "I'm not leaving, Maya. I'm just changing. I'm changing what I will and won't do. But what if we need you? Then you'll figure it out. Or you'll ask nicely instead of demanding. Or you'll say thank you instead of taking it for granted." Derek slammed his hand on the table. "You're being selfish." "Am I? Or am I finally being fair?" The next morning, Sarah got up early and made coffee, only for herself. She sat at the kitchen table reading a book she'd wanted to read for months. When Derek came downstairs, he found no breakfast waiting, no coffee prepared, no lunch packed. "Where's breakfast?" he asked, confused. "In the kitchen," Sarah replied without looking up. "I mean, you didn't make anything." "No, I didn't." Derek stood there processing. "So, what am I supposed to eat?" "Whatever you want. The kitchen's full of food." "Sarah, I have meetings this morning. I don't have time to cook." "Then you should have gotten up earlier." Derek's confusion was shifting to anger. "This is ridiculous. You're being childish." "I'm being fair. You're a grown man. You can make your own breakfast." Maya appeared in the doorway, looking between her parents. "Mom, can you drive me to school?" "Not today. You'll need to take the bus." "But I hate the bus." "Then you'll appreciate it more when I do drive you." Both Derek and Maya stared at her as if she'd grown a second head. "I don't understand what's happening," Maya said, her voice small. Sarah finally looked up from her book. "What's happening is that I'm remembering I'm a person, not a service. And people have limits." The week that followed was chaos. Derek burned toast, forgot meetings, and wore wrinkled clothes. Maya missed the bus twice and had to walk to school. Bills went unpaid, appointments were missed, and the house slowly descended into disorder. Sarah watched it all with the detached interest of a scientist observing an experiment. She went to work, came home, and took care of only her own needs. She read books, took long baths, and slept peacefully while Derek and Maya struggled with basic life tasks. "This has to stop," Derek said one evening, cornering her in the bedroom. "The house is a mess, Maya's grades are suffering, and I'm falling behind at work. That sounds like a problem you should solve. We should solve. Together. Like a family." Sarah closed her book and looked at him. "Derek, where was this together energy when I was drowning for 20 years? You never said you were drowning. I did. You just weren't listening. I was working, providing. You were hiding. You were hiding behind work so you didn't have to participate in your own life. Derek's face crumpled. I don't know how to do this. Learn. I don't know where to start. Start with thank you. Start with please. Start with noticing when someone does something for you. And if I do that, will you help me? Sarah was quiet for a long moment. Ask me again in a month. The transformation was slow and painful. Derek burned dinner several times before managing to cook edible meals. Maya learned to do her own laundry after running out of clean clothes. They both started saying please and thank you with the awkwardness of people learning a foreign language. Sarah watched from the sidelines, offering guidance when asked but refusing to take over. It was harder than she'd expected. Every instinct screamed at her to step in and fix things. But she held firm. I hate this, Maya said one evening, struggling with homework she'd previously expected Sarah to help with automatically. I know, Sarah replied, not moving from her chair. Will you help me? If you ask nicely. Maya's face scrunched with frustration. Mom, will you please help me with my math? Of course. It was a small thing, but it felt like a victory. 3 months later, the house had found a new rhythm. Derek had learned to cook simple meals and actually seemed to enjoy it. Maya had become more independent, managing her own schedule and transportation. They still needed reminders sometimes, but the desperate helplessness had faded. Sarah sat in the garden she'd finally had time to plant, watching the sun set over her small paradise. Derek approached carefully, 2 cups of tea in his hands. I brought you something, he said, offering her a cup. Thank you, Sarah replied, genuinely surprised. Derek sat beside her, not saying anything for a long moment. Finally he spoke. I've been thinking about what you said. About not seeing you. Sarah waited. I think I forgot how to see you. I got so comfortable with you handling everything that I stopped noticing you were a person with your own needs. Yes, Sarah said simply. I'm sorry. I know that's not enough, but I'm sorry. Sarah turned to look at him. It's a start. I want to do better. I want to be better. Then be better. Not because I demanded it, but because you want to be. Derek nodded, tears in his eyes. I love you, Sarah. Not just as my wife, but as the person you are. Sarah felt something shift inside her chest, a door opening that had been closed for years. I love you too. But I need you to understand that I won't go back to being invisible. I wouldn't want you to. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the day fade into evening. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. There was still work to be done, trust to be rebuilt, patterns to be changed. But it was a beginning. Maya found them there an hour later, 2 figures silhouetted against the sunset. She approached hesitantly, still learning to navigate this new family dynamic. Mom? Dad? She called softly. What is it, sweetheart? Sarah asked, her voice warm. I wanted to say thank you. For everything you did for me before. And for teaching me to do things for myself now. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. You're welcome, Maya. And I wanted to ask if you'd help me with something. But like, as a favor, not because you have to. Sarah smiled, the first genuine smile she'd worn in years. I'd love to help you. Maya sat down on the grass beside them, and for the first time in years they felt like a real family. Not a woman and her dependents, but 3 people who chose to care for each other. The stars began to appear in the darkening sky, and Sarah felt something she hadn't experienced in decades. Peace. Not the peace of exhaustion or resignation, but the peace of being truly seen and valued. She had found her voice, and in doing so had found herself. The end.